In my last video, I covered an overview of Attio workflows. In this one, I want to show some real-world use cases, the most common workflow types I actually implement across Attio workspaces. Let's get started. Okay, so the first use case I want to show you is round robin assignment. So in this instance, a new deal is added or created, and you want to auto assign the owner or salesperson to that deal. So maybe your sales assignment is not based on territory or specific criteria. You just want it to be round robin. So in this case, you would select record created as the trigger. You would select deals as the object. Then the next block would be round robin. And then you would input the users that you want to include in the round robin. So of course, this means that each salesperson does need to have a seat in Attio. Now, in my case, I just have myself in here, but you would just go ahead and select everyone that you want in this round robin. And then the next block would be update record. Select object deals. And then the record would be use variable. So you would select the created record. So you're not always updating the same record. It's based on a variable. So again, created record. Attributes to update. You would update deal owner, and then you would use variable, and you would select the picked user from the round robin. So record created, round robin, update record to make sure that it actually auto assigns that user. And then from here, you can of course add in tasks for the deal owner. You can add in a step to message a Slack channel so that the deal owner is notified. But essentially, this is how you would set up a round robin. Okay, so the next use case I want to show you is when a deal is updated, you want to create a follow-up task X number of days later. In this case, I'm going to trigger this workflow when a deal is updated to the proposal sent stage, and I want that task to be created 3 days later to follow up on that deal. So record updated or attribute updated could be the trigger. I'm just going to go with record updated, and then I'm going to select deals. The attribute is going to be deal stage, and then the filter will be new value is proposal sent. And then I'm going to add in the delay block here for 3 days. And then I'm going to add another filter step so that updated records deal stage is still proposal sent is basically what I'm saying here. So, we've waited 3 days. The deal has not been updated. It's still in this proposal sent stage. So I want to follow up. This avoids scenarios where the deal is updated and you still get a task. You don't really want to get a follow-up task if there actually has been movement on the deal and they gave you a yes or no. And then after that, you would create task, and then give your task a name, follow up. Linked records would be the updated record. Assignee would be the deal owner, for example. And then due. So with this due date here, you could do updated at, but then you might have to create another block to adjust that due date so that it's only due X number of days later. But if you just want to keep it simple, you could just have the task created and leave the due date empty. So another very common use case is when a new deal is created, for example, you message a Slack channel. So obviously this is only relevant if you use Slack, but a lot of my clients do. So the trigger in this case would be record created. Select the object, so deals, and then the next step would literally just be post message to channel, and then you select the channel that you want to message, and then you can include the message here. So new deal created, and then you can even insert some more info about the deal depending on which attributes you have, but you can, include the deal name, the associated company, associated people, so on and so forth. Again, really just depends on the attributes that you have set up. So let's say I just wanted new deal created and then deal name, then I would just leave as is, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so this use case is if you update a deal to one or another stage and you have an attribute on the company level that reflects the life cycle status, for example, then you can update that life cycle status automatically when the deal is updated. So in this case, the trigger would be record updated or attribute updated. I'm going to go ahead with record updated, then deals, and then attribute. And then I'm going to add a filter block. And then the new value is 1. And then the next block will be update record. And then I'm going to select companies as my object. And then here it's asking me, well, which record do we want to update? I'm going to use variable because the company record is going to change every time. So I'm going to select updated record, the associated company that's on the updated record. And now I'm going to look for my life cycle attribute. And now I'm going to select the status that I want to update it to. So if a deal has been changed to 1, I'm always going to update it to customer. And that's basically it. So you can do this sort of workflow with any change on the deal level, as long as, of course, you have an attribute on the company level that kind of matches what we're doing here. The final use case I'm going to show you is when a deal is updated to lost, and maybe you want to add that deal to a lost list. So lost deals or deals to re-engage, for example, so that that deal stays top of mind for you and then you can re-engage when it's the right time. So the trigger would be record updated or attribute updated, but because I've been using record updated in my previous examples, I'm just going to select attribute updated so you can see what that looks like. So the object will again be deals, and then the attribute would be stage. And then I'm going to add a filter so that the new value is lost, because I only want this to trigger when the stage is lost. And then I'm going to add record to list. And then I'm going to select my list, lost deals. Now, because my list wasn't shared with my workspace, I need to grant access. So I need to grant the workflow access to the list, because lists can be private. And then I'm going to select the record that I want to add. I'm going to use a variable because, of course, the record's going to change. So record. And then if you have additional attributes in your list, those will show up here, and then you can decide how you want to populate those. I just created that lost deals list as an example, so I don't have any other attributes. But that's basically it. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you learned something, then please like and subscribe. And if you feel like you need more one-on-one help, then feel free to schedule an intro call with me. My link and contact info is in the description. Thanks for watching.